fire, explosions, tragedy, coming this November on The Young and the Restless. Oh man, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Every sweep season, I am reminded by the fact that this is not your grandma's soap. We are definitely 21st century here with all of the crazy, what would you call it? Almost, action, adventure, disaster movie vibe. That's what I was getting out of this whole week. It was wow. I have so many things to say. It's going to be really hard for me to keep it to a 1 hour time slot. I have so many questions. How much did this week cost? That's what I really want to know. How much did YNR and CBS shell out for this crazy week? Oh my goodness, it was so good. Well, to me anyway, I'm going to start it out with a question to you guys. Let's take a pulse here. Newman Tower fire and explosion week. Did you love it or did you hate it? YRChat.com. That is the poll for this week. And I want to hear what you guys, if you loved it or if you hated it. And of course, I want to get your general feedback on how you think YNR did during this, I suppose, week one of sweeps. I mean, for me, it was like, I couldn't even believe that I was watching The Young and the Restless. I mean, YNR was really, in my opinion, firing on all cylinders. Every single piece of this was tight. The costumes, the special effects, the sets, even the audio, the fact that you could hear the fire burning in the background, the lighting, the writing, the acting. Usually, we spend so much time focusing on the characters, and we talk a lot about the actors and the writing, but I really have got to give props to the whole package. I mean, it cannot be easy to put together this much drama in such a tight time frame. I mean, they have no time at all to do this. They're churning this out to give us a daily hour-long program, and in my opinion, it was absolutely impressive what they were able to accomplish this week. And even though I loved the big explosions, there were so many little moments to appreciate along the way, visually and just emotionally. I just think it was the entire package. But I don't want to gloss over any of the big explosions. I think that's the obvious part of the week, but it was really good. I mean, it was definitely giving me a disaster film vibe. The top of the tower, everybody being trapped, knowing that they can't get out. I mean, it seriously, near the beginning of the week, I started feeling panic attacky. Like, there was just something about it that created this sense of desperation in me. Like, how would I get out of this burning building? It was a nightmare scenario. I've had nightmares that mirror this. So I had that sense of anxiety. It's amazing that they were able to draw that out of me right away. I'm wondering what the heck is going to end up becoming of Newman Tower. I mean, do you remember they did something very similar during February sweeps? We had that plane crash, we had the underground collapse. In fact, there were some moments seeing certain characters trapped under the rubble where I thought, that reminds me way too much of what just happened at the underground 6 months ago. But it was still really good to watch. I mean, the underground ended up getting rebuilt in a month. So I don't know if it's like we're getting all of this Newman Tower just to have it crumble to the ground. I'm going to be sad if the whole tower comes down. And just total side note, you couldn't have told this story 10 years ago. It had a lot of 9/11 memories jogged in me. I don't think you could tell the story of people being trapped in a tower as it's burning and falling to the ground 10 years ago. So it's definitely a bold choice to kind of bring that back full circle, but I'm enjoying all of the shots of Newman Tower, only to think that it's going to topple to the ground. I mean, I didn't even know we had a lobby. Y&R built this new lobby for Newman Enterprises where Paul is conducting his search and rescue operation, and which is ridiculous to me that he would even set up shop in the lobby of a high-rise that's on fire. Oh, I hope we don't, I mean, we had all of those incredible scenes of the tower from the outside. Y&R really gave it to us with the special effects. We saw the tower, we saw the fire, we saw even a helicopter flying around it. We saw the degradation of the tower. It started out with just an explosion, and then little by little we saw it become engulfed in flames. All of that. I mean, how much does that cost? How much does that special effect cost? They really shelled it out and built this set for the lobby. Everybody is trying to get out. Paul's trying to get them out. All of the firefighters are trying to get them out. There's a helicopter on the roof that is able to lift most everyone out of the area, but there were certain subsects of people who either decided not to go, let other people go first, or wanted to go rescue somebody else. The children, last week I was thinking, oh, that's not good. They got all those kids in this tower that we know there's a fire. It's not going to be good. But Kevin and Mariah were able to get the children out of the tower safely. Maybe Y&R felt like they had to show something like that, just to establish that, okay, yes, we're totally going to take down this tower, but we're going to make sure everybody knows that the children got out safely. No children were harmed during the blowing up of Newman Tower. But we had also Jack and Phyllis trapped in a room on their own. We had Ashley and Stitch trapped in an area of their own. We had Kane all on his own, trapped. And the entire time this is going on, there's this creepy devil figure lurking around the area. And by the way, Kevin seeing that devil on the screen was not only foreshadowing who the devil behind all of this eventually turned out to be, but that was straight up scary. Did you look at the screen when that devil was sort of morphing onto it behind all the ones and zeros? It was frightening. It was an absolutely terrifying image. Perfect for Halloween, but very scary for me because I'm not that into horror stuff. But all of this anxiety about the people who are trapped inside the building. Chelsea and Connor are in there while Adam is in a hospital bed, unable to do anything. I don't think so. Michael ends up letting Adam out of the hospital so that he can first and foremost go save his wife and his son. Not gonna lie, he did look pretty fine in that fireman's uniform. He had to have a disguise, and it just made sense that he would put on the fireman's pants. I mean, at first he had on the full fireman's uniform, but then as the week progressed, it was just the pants and the suspenders were hanging down behind him. I was like, he looked good. I don't know what it is about firemen. I don't even have a fireman thing, but he looked pretty freaking good. I would have been happy to be rescued by him. I'll just say that. So Adam runs up into the burning building and just, I mean, pretty much what we sort of talked about last week, that he was gonna eventually save everyone. We kind of knew that was coming, but he did have some hurdles to get through to get there. He's running up the stairwell because all of the elevators are out and this fire is raging all over the place. And we see this image of the devil, this costumed figure, come and just knock him out. So Adam is passed out in the stairwell. The hero of the situation is passed out in the stairwell. Everybody else on top of the roof is either trying to get out or trying to help somebody get out. Billy and Victor are working together, of course, because they know that Ashley and Stitch, Jack and Phyllis, they're all trapped in various areas. So Billy and Victor are working together to try to save them, and they bump into Adam in the stairwell. They're able to revive him, wake him up, and all three of these guys who who are normally enemies, bigger than life personalities, are working together, and I loved that. I just really appreciated the fact that they were setting their huge differences aside for just a minute to work towards this common cause. Victor and Billy revive Adam. And of course, Adam he's just got personality the whole entire time. He is kind of begrudging a little bit and snarking back at them. But I do want to mention that there was a moment where I think Billy ran off to look for Jack and Phyllis. And there were just so many moments between Adam and Victor this week that I just ate up with a spoon, just absolutely stared at my screen, just digested. It was so good seeing what we talked about last week. These two guys maybe acknowledging that they actually care about each other, that they actually love each other. And there was a moment in the stairwell where Victor was coughing and inhaling smoke. Adam could have left him there to die, and he didn't. He helps Victor up the stairs, effectively saving Victor's life too. So in addition to all of the other lives that ended up getting saved, Adam saves Victor's life as well. They make it back up to the top of the tower, and by the way, Victor advises Adam to make a run for it. He says, son, this is your chance to get out, go, run, have Chelsea and Connor follow you. That's the song that Victor has been singing since really before the trial. And Adam has to choose whether or not he's going to do that. I think we all kind of knew that that wasn't going to be the route that Adam was planning to take. It was really more at this point about staying, about accepting responsibility, and first and foremost, helping people out of the building. Victor, like a true captain, was ready to go down with that ship. I mean, I think he did even have a line this week saying, you know, I've built this tower from the ground up. I'm not going to watch it fall to the ground. Everything I've worked for is crumbling. I think he said it, everything I've worked for is on fire. And it's just, oh my goodness. I appreciated the fact that the guys didn't want to leave. And it's just such a notion that is always kind of there in these disaster type films, and it was really good to have some heroes, especially when we've talked so much about villains within the past month or so. It was nice to have these guys actually be the hero. Adam, of course, didn't want to leave either. Victor didn't want to leave, but they waited until the very last minute, until there was nobody else that they could possibly save on the roof, and I think it was Billy and Victor and Adam were the last ones off the roof. Maybe Joe too. It was a little bit funny, horrible, but funny that, I mean, Joe was like ready to get on the helicopter, get out the building, take care of himself. He was probably elbowing women and children on the way out. Just kidding. I know that wasn't the case. But Dylan was kind of trying to hold Joe back, like, no, you gotta go rescue, you gotta go save. And it was so representative of probably what people's different reactions to disaster situations like that would be. There certainly are probably people who want to be the hero, and there are people who just want to get out of there and, you know, for whatever reason, call it cowardly, are looking out for themselves. And so it was just a little personality trait that YNR worked into that I did like very much. Just as Victor and Adam, as the last people, are getting off the top of the tower, Adam looks back and he sees that figure of the devil, and he's just through the smoke trying to figure out what on earth that this could be. Who is this? Who is this person? Who's the one that's behind all of this? As if I suppose we couldn't guess. Victor doesn't want to leave Adam, but I think Victor believed Adam saw one more person back there, wanted to go rescue them, so Victor agreed to go up into the helicopter. And that moment where Victor was leaving Adam and he just says, safe travels, my boy, gets up into the helicopter, they show a look of Victor's face through the helicopter. Not only watching his entire life, his entire business burn to the ground, but knowing that his son is in there, and he just looked at the tower. I mean, we saw his reflection. Oh my, it was good TV. We saw Victor in the helicopter, but we could also see the reflection of the fire in the helicopter window, and Victor just had this morose look on his face, and then he just slowly bowed his head as if, I can't look at this. I don't want to know. Absolute tragedy all on Victor's face in the span of 5 seconds, maybe. It was so good. Adam turns around to try to figure out who this devil is. Like, the helicopter's flying away. This is last chance. Adam almost had an opportunity to get out and save his life, and by turning around, he accepted that this could be the last thing he ever does. And he approaches the devil figure and says to him, "Who are you?" And of course, I think I even literally said this last week, the hand goes up, pulls off the mask, and it is revealed that it is Ian Ward. Please allow me to introduce myself. I should have completely 100% guessed, and I think the theme too of all of these storylines that have been arcing over the past at least 2 weeks is that I didn't want to believe it was the obvious character, and then it was totally the obvious character. I don't even want to go into the fact that Ryan showed the devil as this like really tall, imposing guy over that course of 3 episodes, and that it turned out to be that short little old man, Ian Ward. I don't even want to talk about it because I was happy. I was happy with what became this final showdown over Paragon. Adam versus an old man. Who would win? I mean, it would have been so easy to overpower Ian Ward, but he's a spry little guy, and man, that writing was good. Y&R has consistently written the character, the villain of Ian Ward, in a brilliant way. And this was certainly no exception, weaving in these biblical elements, these devil elements, and really having Ian relish this work of art that he's created, this work of chaotic art that he's created. There were so many wonderful shots of Ian in his devil uniform standing in the flames. It was just so good. I don't know if Y&R put those flames in post-production, or if they actually had some level of fire on the set, controlled, obviously, fire on the set. I don't know, but it was visually just beautiful. It really was, and I enjoyed the writing. I enjoyed Ian saying to Adam, "Hey, man, you lit the match on Paragon Project. It's a little too late to cry fire now. This is us. This is our project together. We wanted to take Victor down, and now not only have we done it in destroying his business, but we're going to bring the whole building down too, man." Almost as if Ian thought Adam would be proud of him for coming up with this final part of the plan. Hey, you wanted revenge on Victor. You're the one who came to me. You got me out of prison. You wanted to see Victor pay. Now he's paying. And this jarred something in Adam, where I think he realized maybe it was like looking at himself in a reflection, like, this is not who I am. This was never what my intention is. I don't want to have this kind of attitude toward my father, toward my life. I don't want to be that guy. So Adam now steps up and begins to defend Victor, even saying something like, "Victor is 10 times the man that you are. 10 times. So again, we're seeing this resolution between Victor and Adam, father and son, maybe an understanding between them. Adam had a chance to let Victor die, had a chance to let Ian go, and he did not. Adam decided to fight against Ian. I was laughing a little bit. I mean, because you know Adam could just take that little old man out with one hit, and he chose not to do it. There was a little bit of a struggle between them, and eventually there was another secondary collapse of the roof, and beams and stuff fell on top of Ian, and Adam decided not to save him. Obviously, do you think Adam was gonna kill Ian if someone else, or if the roof hadn't collapsed? That's a good question too. Would Adam have killed Ian if he had the chance? Because there was a great line that Adam said. I think Ian asked, "What, are you gonna murder me?" And Adam said, "They won't call it murder. They'll call it justice." Man, that line just stuck. Knowing that Adam's been through all of this with justice and having just been through this court trial and knowing what it feels like to be on the receiving end of pitchforks, to say that, and I think he lucked out. I think he didn't want to kill Ian, certainly, but I personally think he would have if he had to. So it was good that the roof collapsed on him. Now, meanwhile, everybody who has gotten out is back at the hospital, worried about the people who are still inside. I want to give a little bit of props to Dylan this week, because I'm not normally a huge Dylan fan. I think I like him sometimes, and then other times he gets on my nerves, but I really appreciated him playing that hero role. Dylan has this military background, and he, I think, just has this in general attitude of, wait, this is a crisis, and he has a sort of no man left behind ethos that comes from, I'm sure, being in the military. So Dylan is ready to go back. I mean, Dylan and Victor are safe at the hospital, and they know Adam is in there, and they're ready to go back into a very dangerous situation. And Victor didn't have to go back. Victor's a 70-year-old man. He didn't have to go back into a flaming tower. He could have let Dylan and Billy or whatever, the firefighters, the younger guys, take care of it. But Victor was like, my son's in there. My son needs his father. His wife needs him. So Victor and Dylan go back. I mean, it was so amazing. They weren't able to get in from the roof, so they ended up in the lobby. I think it was Paul, maybe in the lobby, telling Victor, you can't go up there. I mean, there is no way you are making it up that stairwell to the top of the tower. And Victor said, hey, we all gotta die of something, and I sure don't intend for it to be old age. Oh, I'm so into Victor this week. I'm into Victor and Adam this week. That was such a good dynamic, and I just loved that Victor was willing to go up there and risk his own life for his son. Finally, he was ready to risk something. It's like love is not just what you can get out of somebody. You know, you have to be willing to give, and that's always been Victor's point. That's always been Victor's stumbling point. Is it's not just I'll love you when you do what I want. I'm gonna love you anyway. I'm gonna run up a stairwell. That's the kind of love that Victor never had, and so he doesn't know how to give it, but he's learning. I loved it. Oh, God. When Adam came out, though, of the Adam was the hero too. Adam was the primary hero. Adam comes walking out of that stairwell, and he's got like Stitch carried over his shoulder and two women, and he's still wearing the sexy fireman pants. There was this look between Adam and Victor, just sort of we don't need to say it. I mean, Chelsea rushes over to Adam like, oh, you're still alive. Oh, yeah, everything's good. Oh, I missed you. I was so worried. And then there's just this little glance between Adam and Victor that said, we know. We don't need to say it. We just know. I swear, I this week was way more interested in the love story between Adam and Victor than Adam and Chelsea. Not to say that I don't appreciate that too, but as we predicted last week, Adam gets back to the hospital. I mean, the man was injured anyway. He'd just been hit by a car. He was already bruised up, banged up, couldn't feel his legs. an hour ago, and yet he was able to rush up to the top of the tower, back down to the main floor, and back down to the bottom. I mean, Adam was really physically able to accomplish some super human feats there. He gets back to the hospital, is in need of a medical attention, and who's waiting there ready to handcuff him? Christine. Really? I mean, he didn't have any medical care at all, and she had the cop putting the cuffs on him. I just felt so bad for him, because by that point, we're, as viewers, we're like, wait a minute, we've seen his entire struggle. We've seen Adam go through what he's gone through to help people when he didn't have to. He didn't have to help anybody but Chelsea and Connor, but he did. And now Christine slapping the cuffs on him, it made her look so bad. I kind of wish Weiner wasn't making Christine so harsh, because it just makes her look bad, and I don't want to think of Christine as this heartless person. Paul had to pull Chris aside and say, Chris, maybe you're not aware, of what happened. I realized he just escaped from the hospital, but he had a chance to flee, and he didn't. And the fact is, if it weren't for Adam Newman, this hospital would be filled with people who were grieving for their loved ones. That didn't seem to get through to her, though. Chris is so by the book, and she really always has been for a very long time anyway. I don't know if I want to say always has been, but that is a strong facet of her personality. She believes in the law, and there was a law broken, and therefore there must be repercussion. There's no emotional element to it. It is black or it is white, and it took Chelsea taking Chris, looking at her and saying, what is wrong with you? Just that simple sentence, what is wrong with you? It was so powerful, because that's the question, Chris. Have you no humanity? And eventually Christine did decide to change her mind and at least allow Adam to get some medical care at the hospital where he is already, rather than taking a risk and transporting him to the prison hospital. She decided to take a step back. Okay, maybe I can at least allow the man medical attention, and that was good. I was glad to see that. But it's like, I kind of think that, obviously, if we watch the character of Adam from Monday to Friday's show, the point was to represent him as the hero. The point of this was Adam's redemption. I don't think it's necessarily the point of everything that happened all week, but we are 100% seeing Adam rising up from the dirty, dusty, seedy things that he's done and deciding to become a better man. And in a way, I felt like Christine's character and Christine's side of the argument was almost like representing Adam's naysayers. She was the most extreme. She represented the most extreme anti-Adam attitude that there could possibly be. And in the end, Weiner decided to put that up against a very heroic and incredible action on Adam's part, and then ask maybe us as the audience, hey, are we ready to let this go now? I mean, Adam did a bad thing, there's no doubt about it, but look at these other great things that he did. So I almost kind of felt like that was Weiner challenging the audience in a way. Like, how many babies does the man have to pull out of a building burning in order to make up for this one mistake? I was so into Stitch and Ashley this week. I really like them as a couple. I mean, I don't know if it's more, it might be just more by the fact that they were in this heightened situation, but I was totally into them. The way the initial roof collapse and that scene of the explosion behind them, they're running away, there's fire in the back. the crowd. Oh my goodness. They had to have had doubles, stunt doubles, I'm sure, but it looked very real. It looked very good. It was nothing short of action film. I couldn't believe it. How every time they had some, I'm such a tightwad. Every time they had something amazing happen, I just kept thinking, how much did that cost? Weiner spent some money on us this week, you guys. We should at least say thank you, I think. They spent some freaking cash to make us entertained, and damn it, I was entertained. Ashley and Stitch, I mean, Ashley, I feel so bad for saying that she was the worst Halloween costume last week because, my God, she looked beautiful. It was never about her, how great she looked. I just didn't get the costume, even though Aaron Brody on YouTube left me a message and said, I think she was kind of going for a Veronica Lake thing. I don't know why I didn't get it. I should have just like said she looks hot. Let's stick with that. But I mean, my God, even dirty, she looked beautiful. Her hair was like blunt, like wind blown, and it just looked so good. They should do her hair kind of more full more often because she just looked so beautiful. And even Stitch is like bloody and bruised and wounded, and he had this desperate smile on his face, and I really liked Stitch this week. Maybe it's empathy. That's how you get me personally, YNR, is make somebody an underdog and boom, I'm in, because I was all about Stitch, and there is nothing like tragedy to bring two people together. I mean, the whole situation, Ashley and Stitch being trapped inside of that area, he's wounded, so they can't go anywhere. I mean, the situation could not even have been more heightened. He's injured. There are literally flames outside of the door. The freaking gas line breaks. And Stitch decides now is the time he has to profess his love for her and say, I've loved you all along. I lied. I really still love you. And Ashley's trying, oh no, don't tell me. No, I don't want to hear this. You're engaged to my daughter. But you know, and then she said literally deep down inside, she liked it. She wanted to hear it. I mean, there was a part of me that thought, are they going to have sex right now? You know you were expecting that too. That could not have just been me. I thought they were going to rip their clothes off and do it right then and there, and it would have been hot. Literally. Oh man, and meanwhile, the whole time, Abby is, I don't want to go, I'm not going to get on the helicopter. I got to know where Stitch is. Stitch and my mom are trapped somewhere inside. And she ends up sneaking away to go downstairs to try to find them. I really thought they were going to be like doing it when she found them. That was where I was expecting it to go. But there was this secondary collapse, and Stitch throws himself over Ashley in order to save her, and it knocks him out and further complicates his injuries. So Abby comes in, finds them there, and of course she's sitting here looking at her fiance and her mother. She wants to get them out, but Stitch is out cold. They can't move him, so they can't leave him either. So there's this incredible moment where Ashley just is so self-sacrificing, and she looks at her daughter and she's knowing that she's gonna die. I think Ashley fully believes she's going to die, and she sends Abby out to go look for help, and Ashley's gonna stay and die with Stitch. That's, I think, where her mind was. I mean, Ashley had to force Abby to leave under the guise of go look for help and come back for us. But I think Ashley knew she was trying to send her daughter to safety and that she was going to have to stay there and die with Ben. I mean, just behold the power of Eileen Davidson this week, because they had all these tight close-ups on her face and her eyes just looked so sad, and so she played it all right in her face, and also she had like her costume, there was a lot of boobs. I mean, it was very breasty. She had it all. I am sorry, but she actually has it all. This is why I love her, or I loved it so much. Oh my goodness. Abby goes out, she's crying for help. Is somebody gonna save me? So help us, is anybody there? And I kind of thought, I mean, because at this point in this story, where the hell's Kane? Nobody's seen Kane. Kane got zero focus this week. I don't know if it was because of his injuries, because he hurt his elbow, but I don't know. There was so little Kane. I thought Kane was going to come out and save them, but no, it was Adam. I mean, Adam was the hero of the week. Why wouldn't I think of that? Adam comes in, for crying out loud. He saves Abby and Ashley and throws Stitch over his shoulder himself. I mean, you know Adam was probably, both of the girls were in their high heels, probably like, I don't know what to do. And Adam's carrying this big old guy. I mean, I'm sure that moving dead weight, because part of me, I thought, well, why can't they just drag him or something? But I'm sure it's way more than you would even think. Plus, Stitch is fit. But Adam did it. Superhuman Adam did it. Oh, man. I kind of like where this is going. Because later at the hospital, Ashley, Stitch is in the bed and we don't know if he's gonna make it. And Ashley is talking to Abby, and Abby is asking, well, what were you guys saying when you were trapped together? And Ashley lies and tells Abby that, oh, Stitch was talking about you the whole time, honey. He was just talking about how much he loves you. But no, in Stitch's dying moment, he was talking about how he wanted Ashley, and she was thinking about how she wanted him. I kind of like it. I don't know why. I know it's sick and twisted and weird that a mother and daughter would even be interested in the same guy, but Ashley's doing the right thing here. I like knowing that she loves him, wants him, but she's saying, no, I can't. I have to choose my daughter. Oh, man. I can tell you this. I know that Stitch is going to survive this because I've seen a couple of casting updates that indicate that there will be a wedding. I just, at this point, I don't know if it's going to be Abby and Stitch or Ashley and Stitch. The reason that Kane was not front and center had to have been because he hurt his elbow. Because Kane was trapped in that file room, passed out with a broken elbow. The devil knocked him out. I mean, the devil must have seen him trying, so presumably Ian saw Kane trying to save the situation, didn't want him to get in the way of his master plan, so the devil knocked Kane over the head, so he's passed out in this room. And I thought, well, why would anybody want Kane? Like, is the devil connected to Kane? Is there something more going on with Kane? Is Kane gonna think it was Joe because Joe also coincidentally had to be dressed as the devil? Could it be Could it be Caleb? I mean, I was totally confused by what happened with Kane, and I was worried about him the entire time. Everybody else was getting out of the building one by one, and Lily was the only one at the hospital a couple times being like, hey, where's Kane? No, there was no focus. I thought, is he gonna be the one to die? I mean, we've been saying for weeks, four people are gonna die. Well, nobody died. I don't think anybody died. Not one single person. I don't think one single person died. I was worried about Kane being trapped in that room. I have no clue how he got out of that room. Literally, I have no idea how he got out of the building. He just showed up at the hospital out of nowhere. How the hell did he get out? I don't know. But it was the look on his face was somehow changed. Kane, I think, has been somehow changed. Not only from the revelation that Hillary's alive and the fact that nobody in his family believed that he didn't have anything to do with it, and now having been through this tragedy, he didn't even want medical attention. He just wanted to see his kids. He's angry with Lily. She was trying to keep Kane away from his kids on Halloween, and of course she felt completely guilty for that. The entire time he's missing, she's just thinking, why did I do that? I love this man. Why did I make such a big deal? Why didn't I support him? And frankly, as soon as Kane got back into the picture, he said, yeah, why didn't you support me? I mean, Lily's ready to get back together right away, and he says, you know what? I don't think I can be with you the way that you turned on me. You didn't trust me. Patty was kind of adorable in her kitty costume. I was really happy to see Patty broke out of Fairview, had time to grab herself some cat ears and suit up for the party. She said she was there to talk to Dylan about something. We all know that that is related to the doctor. But as Patty goes upstairs into the burning building to find Dylan, she runs into Phyllis and Jack. It was just sad, frankly. I was kind of a little bit annoyed with Jack. I think because I'm ready to see Patty succeed at something. I'm ready. She doesn't have to be 100% better, but I want to see Patty get something good in her life. And the second she shows up with Jack and Phil to basically rescue Jack and Phyllis and say, I'll lead you to safety, they started arguing. There's a fire burning, you guys. Phyllis and Patty, the building is on fire. Do you really need to be fighting over Jack right now? There was something about Phyllis where I get that Phyllis was under this intense situation and she has a reason to hate Patty, but did she have to knock her out? I mean, it wasn't the time or the place. I mean, Phyllis really did a wind up and hit Patty right in her freaking mouth. I mean, man. Patty's sick. Can you blame her? I mean, I'm sure I would feel exactly the same way. So I don't know. But there was just something about it where I've had so much pity on I almost called her Kelly. Gee, I wonder why. I mean, Patty and Kelly turned out being similar situations if you think about it. It was when Jack was being held captive by Kelly, Jack was having to pull the old, oh, I'm in love with you, just let me go kind of thing. And he started doing that with Patty too. Oh, Patty, I'm so sorry for whatever happened with you. We'll be together. I don't know if he actually said that, but she kissed him, and it was just sort of like Jack leading Patty on. Well, Jack, that's kind of what got you into this situation in the first place with Patty. I probably would have wanted to punch her if she kissed my man too. I don't know. Phyllis was under a lot of stress. I suppose I shouldn't be mad at her for that, but I mean, there's this whole other explosion, and Patty gets trapped under an ice machine or coffee machine or something, and Jack and Phyllis realize that they can't save her. I don't know why Phyllis and Jack just didn't leave the room. This is another thing that drives me nuts, is like everybody who was inside of a room and stayed there, I think that was foolish. I kept thinking, open the door, get to the stairwell, and get out of the building. What, you're gonna sit there in that sardine can and wait to die? I mean, the flames are, I don't know, if the flames were right outside of the door, I don't know why they weren't coming through the door. It was, whatever. Stop trying to make it realistic, Allie. But like as soon as Patty came in and there was that other explosion, for some reason, then Jack and Phyllis were able to get out of that room. What did I miss? Why didn't they leave it before? Why did they need that other roof collapse to get out of there and leave Patty to die under the ice machine or whatever it was? Phyllis was like ready to go. Phyllis was like, Patty's trapped, whatever, let's go. I think that Jack thought she was dead. He did go for a pulse, and I think he said he couldn't find a pulse, but I don't know. I just, like, God. There was that sad moment where I think Jack thought Patty was dead. I don't think Phyllis cared. I think Jack thought Patty was dead, and he couldn't save her, couldn't do anything about it, and he knew he was going to leave her to have a fiery, in her fiery grave, and he just looks at her and he says, oh God, Patty, life didn't give you any breaks, did it? And I loved that line. I loved that moment. It was pity for her when she deserves some pity. And I think, he goes back to the hospital and he has to be the one to tell Paul that his sister's dead. I think Paul knew that she was up in the building and Paul tried to save her, but Jack told Paul that she didn't make it. And I just think that, now we're going to see Jack's guilt setting in over what happened to Patty. I think Jack will always feel responsibility for Patty, and he should, right? I mean, he kind of is the one that set her on this path. I mean, Jack didn't manage his wife, And I think what happened? Didn't he cheat on her after she lost their baby or something? Something in their relationship, I can't exactly remember what it was, set Patty off into crazy town, which is apparently what happens when you love Jack. So he feels responsible for her. I completely understand that. I feel so bad for Paul because Paul has always treated Patty, well, in recent years, has kind of treated her like this wounded bird. It's not Patty's fault that she's sick and she needed help and she needed guidance, and I thought she was getting better. Why did she break out of the mental hospital? My sister didn't make it out. Everybody else's family seems to have made it out, but my sister died, and I just felt so terrible for him. Like everybody else, Patty was leavable. Stitch got carried over Adam's shoulder, but Patty just was left there to die, and there's something so sad about that. And I loved watching Paul go to that mental hospital, go to Fairview, and let that doctor have it. While the tower was burning, Nick and Sage were there. They escaped. They came back to the hospital and their child was dead. Or so they think. So the doctors told them. Christian didn't make it. As soon as they get back, they have to allow the reality to set in that they left their child for a couple of hours and come back and the child's gone into the mist. It was so powerful to me amid all of the things that happened this week. A lot of explosions, a lot of emotional moments. I don't want to gloss over the fact that I think that was a really just very intense moment. I think it was dramatic inside of a lot of other drama that Nick and Sage had to accept the death of their baby. And frankly, I think that the actress who plays Sage brought it this week. I really like her. I think her grief just felt real to me. We saw her crying and howling in pain, even screaming, trying to rationalize what has just happened. And I was just with her every step along the way. I thought that Nick, Josh Morrow, did a great job too. Little expressions in his face. I enjoyed seeing the family comforting him. There was that moment where the social worker said, maybe you shouldn't see your son, even though they are constantly saying, we want to see our son. Where's our baby? Where's our baby? And the social worker is trying to convince them otherwise. And Nick just says, no, we want to see our son right now. And so there's this feeling of, are they going to have closure and be able to see their child? And I think that Sage really, really felt like she should do it. Like she should be able to have the strength to go and view her child one last time. But at the very last minute, once the hospital agrees, Sage realizes that she can't do it. And I understood, because I've had situations where someone has died and the very last thing I wanted to do was see them again. So it made sense to me. I know that a lot of people really would need that closure, but I'm just going to try to explain it from what I think my reaction would have been and sort of identifying with Sage. Things like that stick in my mind. Holding your dead child, seeing that would stick in my mind forever. I would never lose that image. And I would only see that image over all of the other good images, because I know I've done that before. It's that end. It's that thing. It's the bad thing that sticks in me. So I identified with, what's done is done, and I can't change this, and all seeing this is going to do is destroy me. So I just understood where she was coming from. Obviously, the whole thing is there to set up the baby switch storyline, because we all knew it was coming. We all knew that Sage and Nick were going to think their baby was gone or dead or whatever, and this is setting up why. YNR's telling us why didn't Nick and Sage want to see the baby to confirm for themselves. So I just, before we like skip over it, I want to try to explain it from their perspective as why I think they didn't want to see the baby. Now we know now this is just facilitating the baby switch, because we're certainly going to see Sharon end up with that baby too. So the other thing is, I think Nick and Sage's relationship is possibly gonna end. I don't know. It's just that everyone is foreshadowing the fact that their marriage will make it. I mean, Nikki's saying, don't worry. Nick and Sage's relationship is strong. I think they're gonna make it. And in fact, Nikki had this prayer while she thought that Victor was in the burning building, and she was talking about how she wishes she wouldn't have wasted so much time making up, breaking up, getting back together with Victor. And I think that we were maybe seeing that not only to give us Nikki's grief and you know, wanting Victor and wanting to get back with him, but I kind of think Nikki's taking that information and the experience that she's just been through, and I think she's feeding it into Sage, and the fact that that Nikki's trying so hard to get Sage to stay strong tells me that that relationship is doomed. You know, I guess this is the other question I have for you guys is do you think Nick and Sage's relationship is going to make it? And furthermore, do you want it to make it? Because I like Sage, but I also, there is kind of a part of me that's wishing that YNR would get us back to a Nick and Sharon reunion. I mean, Dylan and Sharon, it's fine, but conversely, is Dylan and Sharon's relationship going to survive the whole fact that when the truth comes out about Sharon losing that baby? And, you know, will Dylan and Sharon's relationship survive? So that's my question. Will Nick and Sage's relationship survive? Will Sharon and Dylan's relationship survive this whole baby switch thing? At Fairview, Sharon is trying to resist the treatment, but Dr. Psycho is talking her back into it and giving her pills, and it's so obvious what's being set up here. YNR's not giving us too much cloak and dagger about it. They're pretty well up front. It's clear what's gonna happen. The only question left for me is why? What is this doctor's motive? And there was this key line that she said toward the end of the week at Sharon. She says, all I want for you is to be a good mother. It's behind everything I do. Too much of a good thing can be wonderful. That was the Who Said It quote for last week. I think everybody who guessed it got it right. Astra, Victoria, Katie, Lindy. Lindy described it best. She said, Nikki said it to Nick, well, as Mae West. Which is true. Somebody else guessed, left me an email that guessed too. Leah got it right too, and she had sent an email. So let's do a new Who Said It for this week. I have to tell you, the line, one of the quotes that really caught me, but it would be too obvious who said it, was Hillary saying, I would never cheat with you, except, or no, she said, I would never cheat on you, especially with your son. She said that to Neil. I would never cheat on you, especially with your son. Well, you did. That's like exactly what you just did. But you guys would have guessed if I would have said that. So here is our Who Said It quote for this week. Do you know who said this quote during the Monday through Friday show? Out of the frying pan and into the fire. It really could have been anybody, but there was just this great moment where someone said, out of the frying pan and into the fire. If you know who said it, you can go to yrchat.com and leave your guess, and if you get it right, I will give you your props during next week's YNR chat. Let's read out your comments for this week. I've got 2 pages of them again. Gina left me a voicemail and she said, if you lose track of it this week, you don't even realize that you're watching The Young and the Restless. Just totally different cinematography. And I love that comment because I was thinking the exact same thing, Gina. It's like is this The Young and the Restless, or am I watching an action film? Gina also mentioned about Nikki's prayer in the chapel and how it reminded her of Catherine. I mean, right down to the fact that Nikki had all of those rings on. It was like, Gina says, it was like the show was bringing us a little part of Mrs. Chancellor into that scene. I agree, Gina. I loved that because I was thinking that, you know, I love old Mrs. C having her prayers to God, trying to tell him what to do, and we were getting it with Nikki. She noted the rings, but Weiner didn't explicitly say that. I kind of wish that they would. I was almost thinking that Nikki was going to say something like, Catherine, I'm going to need you now, or something like that. That was, I felt the Catherine presence. I wish Weiner maybe would have just put that in there for us. Gary left a voicemail and said, I was just watching recently the Poseidon Adventure, and this week's Young and the Restless is structured just like the Poseidon Adventure, only except with water, it's fire. Gary also said that the explosion shot with Ashley and Stitch was like straight out of Titanic. And I've never seen Titanic, Gary. I'm one of the only people who has never seen that movie. I don't know how I missed it because it would have been right at my era. But I like disaster movies and stuff make me really uncomfortable. I don't know why. I guess because I can't help putting myself into those situations. That's sort of who I am and what I do. I'm very empathetic, and I almost can't handle it. It gives me bad anxiety. I was watching a Dateline episode a couple weeks ago about, it was actually a couple months ago now, about the Costa Concordia, which was this huge cruise ship that wasn't an iceberg, but they hit something, and little by little this cruise ship started sinking, and there was tons of people on board, and like that were doing interviews with the survivors, and people jumping into the water and knowing they were gonna die, and some people still trapped in the middle. I mean, it was just, you should Google that, the Costa Concordia, because it was like the Titanic, and it was being compared to the Titanic, and it messed me up for months. It was a 2-hour-long Dateline episode, and it messed me up. Oh, so it's a good thing I didn't see Titanic. Ellen C. left a message at yrchat.com that says, Newman Tower disaster week has been impressive. The show must have gotten a big budget for special effects. Remember the plane crash last winter? They literally used a toy plane dangling on a string. This week was so much better. The emotional storylines have been compelling too. I was especially drawn in by Adam. He sure looked yummy in the firefighter gear with Stitch slung over his shoulder. He must have been bionic since he was just hit by a car and had major surgery. Completely realistic, but somehow Justin Hartley pulls it off. Ellen, see, I know, it's so funny that you said that about the firefighter costume because I totally noted it, and yes, Justin Hartley did look hot, and yes, it's been a good week. Eric left me a voicemail kind of talking about Christine and why she is so vicious, and Eric was theorizing that it's really Christine kind of taking her anger out on Adam. Christine lost her child, she's had a lot of problems, and now she no longer has Phyllis to take her anger out on, so it's Adam. And I agree, Eric, it always does kind of seem like Christine lately, when she's the prosecutor, she has to take out her aggression on somebody. Catrice on YouTube says, my thing with Y&R is that the characters are hypocrites. Phyllis tried to run Christine over deliberately. She was given a second chance. Kevin tried to rape a girl as well. There are other people as well that have done their dirt. Yes, I agree, Catrice. I think the reason why I keep watching Y&R is I don't really hold on to that stuff. And I think if I wasn't doing Y&R chat, I would hold on to it even less than I do. Y&R has to give us drama, so characters who are clean, squeaky clean, are just not very interesting. So we kind of have to accept that at a certain point, everybody's had their dirty deeds, they've had their dirt, and we just kind of need to move on. In some ways, we've probably focused on the Adam thing way longer than normal, way longer than we should have, but yeah, Nobody is blameless. Not one of these characters. There's no one. Can you even tell me one person on the show who's not a child, who's completely innocent? I don't think there is one. Bobby left me a message on Facebook that says, so what are the chances that both injured Patty and Ian escaped the towering inferno? So the very last we saw of Ian and Patty was that Ian was trapped under the rubble and left to die. I thought he was gonna be dead there. Next thing we know, Patty is not dead. She has made her way to the roof. Who knows how she did that? And she is telling Ian Ward that she will help him, or that they will be able to help each other. I mean, they do have some kind of connection, and that Ian's able to easily get out of prison anytime he wants, and Patty's able to easily get out of the mental hospital anytime she wants. So that's certainly a good connection. But I agree, Bobby. I'm kind of wondering how on earth would they even be able to get out now? I'm assuming that they will, but how? How do you make it from the top to the bottom? I don't know, but you know they will. Connor left me a voicemail that said, if a burning building can't kill 4 people, the combination of Patty and Ian could. Yes, Connor, because we've been talking for 2 weeks now that there's 4 people supposed to die who died. Not one single person. I don't think one single person has died. So is that still to come? Is that going to be a havoc that Patty and Ian will wreak together? Or are we just... was that just not, didn't happen? I have no idea. Daisy on Facebook says, I feel truly bad for Abby. I don't like this storyline at all. Both Abby and Ashley should be really wary of Ben. He claimed he loved Victoria, then Ashley, then Abby, now Ashley again. He's way too fickle. I want this storyline to end. It's so unrealistic. Ashley's not that needy, and Abby would not need to date somebody who slept with her mother. Have My Cake on YouTube says, I'd rather Ashley go play with Joe, but they don't seem to want to have him in the middle of, they don't want to seem to have him, no. YNR seems to want to have him in the middle of Lily and Kane instead. Yes, that seems to be the case. Yeah, Ashley and Joe had potential, and YNR just didn't pay attention to that. Flash Photo on YouTube says, I like Abby ducking the tomatoes. But I don't know how I feel about Abby and Stitch. I really like Stitch too. I just don't like Abby and Stitch together. It's clear that Ashley and Stitch have more chemistry. I guess I just don't like Abby and Stitch as a couple because I feel like it's not a lasting relationship and it will end. So I don't feel the need to be invested in it because what's the point? Yeah, Flash Photo. Yeah, I mean, there is no reason to get invested. We know it's not gonna last. Let's see. Katie on Facebook says, what parent wouldn't want to say a proper goodbye to their child? I understand that it would be one of the most difficult things a parent could do, but I've never heard of both parents saying, no, I don't want to say goodbye or hold my child. Next on The Young and the Restless, would you like to meet your baby, Sharon? I know. I think it just kind of boils down to different ways that people deal with grief because, I don't know, I got it. I identified in that moment, but I can completely see that, you know, that I can see why that you would question that, Katie. And it is so totally predictable that the baby's gonna get handed off to Sharon. BX Girl HS on YouTube says, I really hate how supportive all the Newmans are of Sage, especially Nikki. I don't understand her being so friendly and supportive with Sage, especially with Sage's involvement with Adam. And Ryan on YouTube says, I'm really sick of the Sage love fest. Everyone seems to be kissing her ass so hard, and worst of all, Nikki seems to be so accepting of her. Nikki has always been so hard on Sharon, even back in the day before she did any of those horrible things. I know. I feel like I'm the lone Sage fan. Does anybody, like, let's get some comments on both sides here. How are we feeling about Sage? Has this week changed your opinion at all about her? Has it solidified any more of your dislike or like of her? I also like, again, Ryan mentioning how hard everyone has been on Sharon, or how hard, Nikki has been on Sharon, because it's occurred to me again this week as we're talking about none of the characters being blameless, that we're all like totally, like I think like most of the viewers are pretty much in support of Adam, and we're all like, let's move on. I mean, Adam did a bad thing, but come on, let's just like move on with our lives. I'm gonna remind everybody of that the next time Sharon does something wild and crazy. Michael left me a voicemail, and I'm gonna end on this because Michael said that, you know, basically the week was amazing, but I loved the lovemaking scene between Noah and Marissa in their Halloween costumes. That was hotter than hot. And I totally agree, Michael. I was almost thinking of just not talking about Marissa and Noah because so much else happened. But when I heard your voicemail, I was like, I gotta bring that back because it was really, really good. I know there are some people who are not into Marissa and Noah, but I feel like I'm just in for anything. I'm so easygoing. Like, whatever you want to give me, why not? For the most part, I'll watch it. But Noah and Marissa sneaking upstairs to have sex was totally hot in their Halloween costumes. Like, Noah was smooching that sugar skull makeup all the way off her face, and then, by the way, next scene, it's all completely on. I mean, it was like, there was just so much, like, I don't know if it was all of the eyeliner that was going on in that scene or what it was, but it was really hot. I totally agree. I loved the fact that Luca saw that it was happening, wasn't happy about it, and he was real passive aggressive as soon as they all came back. There was just this moment where it's like he's almost competing with Noah to see who can help more people, or they're both looking for a flashlight and they both get it, and Luca's like, my flashlight's bigger than yours, walking around in his Roman outfit. It was really good. But I do want to mention, because I got to criticize Marissa on this point, she let Luca kiss her in front of Noah. Noah and Marissa didn't know that Luca saw them having sex upstairs, I think. And so there was this moment where Luca comes back and acts like it didn't happen and is being real passive aggressive toward Marissa, and he pulls her in and kisses her in front of Noah like, yeah, you may want her, or you may have had her, but she's really mine and she's with me, and you can't have her mine. And I thought, you know, Marissa is really a coward. I think that Marissa is a coward for not standing up to Luca and making it clear that she's not in love with him, and it's not okay for him to just be kissing her like that. Who's ready to see the last two soaps in the Genoa City soap series? So if you guys are new to Y&R Chat, I have been making a total of 8 different homemade cold process soap bars inspired by The Young and the Restless. So each of the 8 bars are inspired by 8 characters on the show, and I've been revealing them little by little, 2 a week. And then at the very end of the big reveal, we are going to do a giveaway. So let me first show you how the last 2 turned out. So this is Neil. I'm kind of proud of Neil. He is an indigo blue and white bar with a really sexy, cool, fresh, aquatic fragrance. I think he looks really sharp. He looks suited up. He smells good. This is the one that I think my Y&R Chat mins are gonna like. I don't know why I said Michael earlier. Henry was the one that called in about Marissa and Noah. I'm sorry, Henry, don't hate me. I know it was you. You're gonna want this. I think, Michael, you'll want it too. Connor, Aaron, Gary, Ryan, you guys want this one. Let me tell you, it just smells like fresh out of the shower, sexy man. I think it turned out really pretty too. And the very last soap in the series, I think it's kind of completely appropriate to reveal this week, is Ashley. Oh, probably the most beautiful bar that I've made. It's all white. It's kind of, almost kind of an off-white actually, cream color with a gold and silver mica dusting on top. It's very classic, classy. Smells like high-end. It smells expensive. It smells light, airy, wispy. It's an Estee Lauder type fragrance, so it's perfumey for our perfumist, of course. There are reasons behind the design and the fragrance for both of these soaps, which you can see on my channel, my new YouTube channel at Genoa City Soap. So you can just Google Genoa City Soap or put it in on YouTube or go to yrchat.com to see the links to where you can view me not only making these soaps, but also talking about the inspiration behind them, why I chose colors, fragrances, getting in a little bit more to the characters of Neil and Ashley, a few of my little musings about them. So Genoa City Soap on YouTube is where those are. And if you're listening to the podcast and you want to see pictures of these two pretties, these are probably the prettiest bars I've done, I would say, in the series. They just look good, smell good, they're good and hearty. So I think these will be I think these will be popular ones. If you want to see them, go to yrchat.com, and next week we are going to do the big reveal of how you can enter the giveaway. So be sure to come back next week and I will tell you all about what you can do to enter. It'll be easy. I want to make sure everybody gets a chance because one of you guys, maybe more than one of you guys, are going to win the soap and you're going to get to choose which one you want to have. Well, so much for keeping Y&R Chat to a tight hour. It was a big week. How could I help myself? It's not my fault. There was a lot to say, right? Okay, well now it's your turn to tell me what you have to say. You can go to yrchat.com. You can leave comments on the blog. You can find Facebook and Twitter links. If you'd like to leave comments there, you can of course find the video on YouTube, leave your comments in the YouTube chat box, or you can call into my voicemail at 309-588-4569. That just reminded me too, I want to say a special hello to Christina. She sent me a really nice email this week and she's always a couple weeks behind on the show. So she was saying, I wish I could call, but I'm always a couple weeks behind because I'm so busy. Believe me, I'd be a couple weeks behind too if I wasn't doing Y&R Chat because I kind of like to watch at my leisure, but I'm usually like struggling to get everything in. So, but Christina, hopefully you'll catch on the soap giveaway. I will definitely give you guys an update, or I'll email you so you can make sure to get into the giveaway for the bar of soap. Did I even say that this was Y&R Chat for November 8th, 2015? I don't think I did. I was so excited to get started. I don't even think I did my normal intro. Oh man, what a week. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Please, 309-588-4569 is the voicemail. All the other links are at yrchat.com, and there you can also chat with other people. I mean, you can see other people's comments and kind of interact on any of these places. Vote in the poll, leave your guess for the Who Said It, and in general, just give me your opinions on the show. I really, I was so tickled this week listening to voicemails and reading comments as I was watching the show, because it's just like, I don't feel alone in enjoying this. There was this part of me this week that was so happy to be a Young and the Restless fan and to know that I'm not alone, that there are so many other people out there who were enjoying it right along with me. So thank you guys. I love you, and I will be back next week. Everybody have a good one. Bye.